Hello, a very warm welcome and a good afternoon to you. A little bit later than usually scheduled. I appreciate I'm usually with you at 10 a.m. UK time. We've had some technical difficulties on my part. So there's all sorts of going on in my house today. My electric's been off. And I was like, that's fine. I've still got enough power. And then realised it's the Wi-Fi, isn't it? So all back up and running. So I really, I'm very grateful to you for being a patient and gentle with me this morning. Thank you so much for being here with me on what is our last live of 2025. So it's lovely to have had your support this year. We really are very grateful from myself and the Totally Bleeds team. Thank you so much for supporting us all year and making along with us. It might be that this time is a little bit better for some people, especially over in the US, but I also appreciate that, people might not have known it was quite last minute, so I do apologise. Today I'm going to be making these gorgeous earrings with you. So I'm going to be showing you how to make what I'm referring to as a love knot. So it's a double linked component, really pretty. You can add them into all sorts of your jewelry pieces. You could add them into bracelets, necklaces, all sorts of things. But what I'm going to do with you today is I'm going to show you how to attach them to these lovely hooped earrings, and we're going to be using some lovely colourful wire as well. So that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do today, and it's a really straightforward make. So if you haven't done wire work before, then this might be a really good starter. They're lovely little components. It's basically like a little bead, so you can add these into anything. You could make them into little spaces. You could do whatever you want with them. So good morning to Carol. Thank you for joining me today. Hello to Mina. Hello to Stacey. She says good morning, darling, sweetie, darling. All the way from Isla Morada, Florida. She says, I'm glad to be here. It's 20 past 7 a.m. And good afternoon to Anne, and hello to our lovely Fairness Bourne. She says, all the way from a Dullborough watching in the background, and she's at lunch. Oh, you're doing some crafts. I hope you have a lovely day and a lovely crafting afternoon. I'm going to get to see my little one singing in his concert today, so I didn't want to push the live back too late, but I do apologise if there's lots of noise in the background. So far it's okay, but I've got a house full of electricians, joiners, window fitters. It's all a go. It's very excited. It's nearly Christmas. Good morning to Camille. She says good morning, Natalie. Oh, she says she can't get on Facebook. I have put it on Facebook. It wasn't there before, but it should be now, and there's a few people. I've got lovely Stacey watching. She's watching on Facebook. Izzy's in as well. She says she didn't think she'd be here today. She's on the coach to Southampton to start a cruise, and she's really excited to learn how to make these. So let me show you. If you want to make along with me today and you want to get your hands on these beautiful earrings, which are here, then I will take you over to the website now and you can buy the kit so you can make along as well. So over we go to totallyleads.co.uk. For the last time this year, well, you can shop till you drop. You can be whenever you want to be on the website. The website's not going anywhere. I'm just going to have a little break over Christmas. I'd like to say it's much deserved. So head into the video tutorial section wherever you would like to get into that. It's all there in the Learn to Make Jewelry here at the top. You can also change your currency because we do ship worldwide. So wherever you're watching from, if you need to change that, you can do that very easily. I've named them Love Knot Hoop Earrings. I've always referred to these as love knots, and this is the design I started making probably at the beginning of the year. And I've done things with them before, but I've been waiting, and I think why not, today being our last live of the year, why not do them today? So these are all your gorgeous colours. They're only £2.99, and you can get two for £5. So what you're going to get is you're going to get your hooped earrings. In fact, I'll go into the first colour and I'll show you all your components. We've got a champagne with red, a green, which is on the gold. We've got a gold with a purple, we've got silver with pink, and we've got silver with turquoise as well. In each of your kits, the only thing that's going to change is the colour of the earring hoops, which are already assembled and made for you, the colour of the weaving wire, which is a 0.4. So in your American wire gauge, that is about a 26. And then I'm going to be using to make the coils an 18 AWG, American wire gauge 18, which is a 1mm for those of you like me who work in that system. So I'm going to be making the love knot components with the 1mm wire or the 18 gauge. And then I'm going to be using some weaving wire on there. So you're going to get both of your wires and your earring hoop sets. Now this colorway is all in a beautiful champagne gold. So your hoops and your wires will all be in that color. You could add beads onto your makes with these as well. You would just need to make sure that the beads that you're using, if you've got them in your stash, are going to be big enough to fit over this hook here. If you need to add anything else into your basket, you can do so by just clicking on the products used in the kit just here below. So all your earrings are £2.99. This one is using the champagne 1mm wire to create that knot and the earring hook, but I'm going to go with a flash of colour. So this has got the lovely red weaving wire, which is what I'm going to be using today. That's a 0.4 or 26 gauge. I'm going to be using that to demonstrate, I think, today, because I'm wearing a red top and 'tis the season for festive colours and all that. So that's your champagne in red. We've got them on the gold and the green. So now instead of having the champagne hoops, you're going to have the gold coloured hoops, you're going to have the gold coloured wire, and you're going to have the green coloured weaving wire as well. It's a really nice green. It's the very kind of deep, dark, gorgeous forest green coloured wire. It is copper wire. It is plated in that colour. We also have these gorgeous ones, which is the gold and the purple. So you can see what is changing. None of the wire gauges change. It's just the colour of the hoops and the wire that's changing. And then if you're somebody who prefers silver, we've gone for a lovely pink with the silver rings of the ear hoops and with your love knots. And then we also have a gorgeous noisy blue, which is a really, really gorgeous colour. I'll show you that down on the mat. So we're just going to be making little coils on there just to add a little pop of colour. If, however, you want to take advantage of the 2 for £5 offer, then you could mix that up. So you might think, actually, I'd really like the silver, but I want the red wire with that. Then you could get the champagne and the red. You could get the silver and the turquoise, and that would be 2 for £5, and you could swap that weaving wire over. Or if you wanted to, you could mix metal colours on your love knots as well. So lots of things for you to do. They're a really nice component, really straightforward and easy to make. I hope my screen's okay. It's looking a bit weird there. Let me head back into the comments for you. So head over to the website, wearetotallybeads.co.uk, and you can get your kits there to make these lovely love knot earrings, and you can make along with me. Good morning to Marilyn. How are you doing? She's in all these lovely places. Manitoba in Canada. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being with me today. I quite like doing it a little bit later. Maybe this could be a new thing. Good morning to Camille and good morning to Kath as well. So I've got a few of you in. I hope you can join us. If, of course, you are joining us late, you can always because I'm late, you can always watch this back on the website whenever you wish to, or you can follow us and watch us on YouTube whenever you want as well. Kath says, oh, they're gorgeous. So these are the beautiful pink on the silver. These are the turquoise, but to me, they're just blue. Gorgeous, gorgeous blue. We've got pretty purple. We have a very festive red. A gorgeous green. And a glamorous and sophisticated champagne. So let's get making. Really, really straightforward. In order to make your love knot earrings, you're going to need in your kit your hoop earrings, which are really nice and comfortable. They've got a little catch on the back. So this post here will fit through the earlobe, and that will just sit comfortably on the back of the ear just to hold the hoop in place. So you're going to need 2 of them to make a pair. I'm going to use my kind of champagne gold wire here. This is a it's a 1mm, which is an 18 gauge. To make one of my love knots, I'm probably going to need about 9 inches. In terms of your tools, I would suggest, if you've got them, to use your bail step making plier. Now you can use a pencil. I wouldn't use a pencil like this because it's got those kind of lines across it. You want something fully rounded. You could use your round nose pliers, but these are perfect for this job because that full step on the bail is going to make sure that when I start to create my coils with the 1mm wire, that they're going to be the same size and they're just going to be really easy to shape. So if you've got them, then use them. You can also use your wire straighteners if you want to. You can straighten it with your fingers, or you can run it through with your nylon coated jaw pliers. Apologise for the background noise. You're also going to need your 0.4mm weaving wire, which works out at about a 26 American wire gauge. And I'm going to be using probably about 40 centimetres of this, which is about 16 inches, probably for one of the earrings, but I'll talk you all through it. So hopefully everything's okay and you can hear me. Camille says these are cute. I tend to only wear hoop earrings, so they're perfect. Mina's saying she's loving the colours and she thinks her friend is going to love a pink and silver. So to make my coils, I'm going to take my 1mm wire and I'm going to use, I'm going to use my 3rd step on the bail making plier. So I'm going to use, it's going to be the 4th smallest and the 3rd largest. I'm going to use that one. You can change this size to whatever you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place my wire into my plier and I'm just going to rotate that round. So just like I would do turning a loop, I'm going to turn it all the way until it runs over the top. And I'm going to create these coils nice and tight around the bail step plier. You can see I'm just feeding it round with my finger. We're going to go round and round and round. And I want to make 5 coils, so I tend to do 6 because what I tend to find is this one will open up a little bit. So if I count these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to go around a little bit more because I'm going to cut probably the first one. I like to do these with 5 coils. So you can see it's slightly opened a little bit. It's gotten a little bit longer. So I want my 5 coils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my wire cutters and I'm going to trim just that end little coil. I've cut through the extra one there. So we'll just get rid of that. This would be how you make jump rings. You can see there I've got a nice little jump ring now. What I want to do is I want to make sure that they line up like so. I'm going to do that again because I would like that extra coil. So I'm going to come in with my bail step making pliers. I want to keep that wire nice and tight around it. So I'm just going to grip it between the jaws of my pliers and guide it round with my finger. All the way around, keep going. Nice little rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be better. So I'm just going to trim. And I'd like this coil that I've cut here to be in line there. So just going to cut that bottom one. And I should have about 4 or 5. If I need to tighten it up again and it's maybe moved shape, I'll just press it in the jaws of my pliers gently. So what I want to do is I want to make 2 coils of that for 1 knot. So I got my wire on the floor. I do tend to find that I tend to make these in little batches, popping it on You can have the wire go above, or you can have the wire coming below. As long as I've got those coils fairly tight, I'm going to keep it all the same size around the plier. So you can do this with a pencil, but these tools are just really helpful. So let's take that off. I'm going to just give that a little trim. And then I would like where I've cut it to be in line like so. So I've now essentially made like 2 springs, 2 little coils. Again, just keep a little eye on it. You want it to be the same size all the way around. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up one and I'm going to slightly pry that last little wrap, just a smidge open. And then with my other coil, I'm going to place it inside and I'm going to start to screw them essentially together. So just to twist, can you see how one is just starting to fit inside the other one? So I'm just rotating it round, twisting it round until those 2 end parts will sit inside. Now, because we've opened one of the coils up, what you might find it's easier to do is just take your pliers and then gently compress that coiled spring. So can you see how those 2 ends now fit inside? So we're just going to position them inside, obviously because we opened it to coil it in and kind of screw it into the other one. They've opened up a little bit, so just pressing it with your fingers or pressing it with your tools just to get them to lock inside. So the outside bits here, I would like to be on the inside of that coil, so they're just interlocking. And then the outside bits on the other are just going to fit inside. So I'm just making these little interlocking springs. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed that on to my E-ring. So if I push these coils together, you will see it will open a little gap in between them. So if I can get this one up, can you see? If I squish them in together, it will open the little links in between. And that's what I'm going to feed it through. This one is a little bit open, to be honest, so I shouldn't have much of an issue with that. I'm just going to try and close that coil up a little bit tighter. So if I take my E-ring hook, I should be able to post it through in between and then come out the other side. And just pressing on both sides will open it up. And then I can always move it around a little bit as well. So now I've just slid my little love knot onto my E-ring. And now I'm going to take my 0.4, which is a 26 American wire gauge. And I'm going to cut, I'll probably do about 40 centimeters, which is about 16 inches. Now you can do as much or as little of this as you want to. I just think it's nice to add a little pop of colour. So I'm just smoothing it out between my fingers. This is my weaving wire. And I'm going to position it onto the hoop of my E-ring and fold it over. And I'm just going to wind and start to coil that on. Now you can see I'm bringing it through the gap at the top of the E-ring in between that space. And that's just going to help me bring that round. I don't have to worry too much about where this is sitting on the hoop at the moment, because as you can see, I can slide it up and I can slide it down. But what I want to do is each time I bring that wire over, I want that coil to sit next to the last wrap. I'm not wrapping on top of it. I'm just wrapping next to it. So I'm creating a coil. Now you can do this for whatever length you want to. I usually do about 35 wraps and I'll usually count. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and I will start to kind of just count my wraps. And the only reason I'm counting the wraps really is I'd like the same length on one side as the other side of the knot. Don't worry if this is sliding off either at the minute, that's fine. So I'm just going to add on the colour that I want. I want to push that coil down. I don't want gaps in between it if I can help it. So you can see it, I'm just going to wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap. Thank you, Teely. His nails are always on point. They've had tester pot paint and all sorts on them as of last night. I'm going to be bold with my colour for my kitchen. Do you know what? I might put a little post up on the Totally Beads page and just get your suggestions. Because you're good with colour, you jewellery makers. So I'm just going to wrap the distance that I want. I might wrap a little bit more. I'm just bringing it through the middle, so nice and easy, round and round and round. And when I'm happy I've got where I want, I'm going to make sure my love knot is sitting nicely in the centre. I think that would be enough of a pop of colour. Now, if you want to, you can cut off and tuck in and then attach on the other side, or you can take the weaving wire, and I'm just going to follow it through where the hoop is, out through the other side, and just give that a little pull to pull it through. And then that's kind of going to hold my love knot in place as well. And then with the other side of that wire, I'm just going to count or measure and carry on that wrap. So I'm pushing it up towards the knot, and I'm going round and round, creating that coil. You can compress it down with your fingers or with your thumb. It might move and might slide, that's absolutely fine. I just want to try and get that knot kind of in the centre, so I can manipulate that and move it where I need it to be whenever I want it to be. I can still change this knot as well. So if I think, well, that's not sitting quite flush, I can gently come in with my pliers. I don't want to be kind of marring the wire. If it slides round, I can reposition it with my fingers and just do what I need to do with it, really. So I'm just going to hold on to it, wrapping it round. You can see I've got big gaps in between there. So I'm just going to gently, with my tools or with my finger, just compress that wrap. So each one I want to be sitting nice and close next to the other one. So I'm creating that lovely flash of colour with my coil. And I'm going to go round and round until I've got the same distance. So you can tend to do this by eye. What I will tend to do is I'll measure my first one by eye, just so when I think it looks about right. And then when I start to make my next earring, I will kind of lay them on top of each other and just check I've got the same amount on each side, because we like a matching pair. You can do them as asymmetrical. Of course, you can change the colour of the wire on this as well if you want to. Just making sure I'm quite happy with where that needs to be. A couple more, I think. So I'm bringing the wire over the loop and round. Push it down with your thumb or your finger as you go, or even if you need to with your tools, just gently. I'm not putting the tools over the wire. I'm just pushing it down really, just to tighten it up if it needs to. But I tend to just guide it round with my finger until I'm happy that those coils are nice and flush together. Probably got a little bit over on that side really. And then all I will need to do is I want to make sure that when this wire finishes, it's kind of finishing on the inside of the hoop. So I'm going to come in with my wire cutters, trim nice and close, and then with my pliers, I'm just going to tuck in and make sure that there's no sharp ends scratching or catching. We want those loops of wire to just fit on the inside. Cutting nice and close, the tail ends off, and then tucking in like so. And then that would be my earring done and dusted. I would just need to make the other one. So I am going to make another one because I'd like it to be matching, and I think I can do a neater job with those little knots. You should be feeding the builders the bacon sarnies. They'll be quiet while you're on. I had no power, and they're fitting my kitchen, Camille, so that's kind of impossible. But yeah, a nice idea. Maybe next week. So you can see how easy these are. She also says this is very clever, really straightforward. I'm taking my wire. I think you probably need about 9 inches, but I don't tend to measure it too much. Obviously, I have done for your kit. I just keep it on my reel. I'm going to do this nice and slow. I'm going to bring the coil round. So my wire tends to sit underneath. I prefer it underneath. See this one here? And then I'm going up, and it's kind of growing by going up the top of the bail step plier. By just pressing on between with my handle, I'm flattening those coils down, and I'm pulling. I've got quite a bit of tension on this bit, really. Just the rotation of my wrist, which is bringing that coil around. And I like to have at least 5 usually for this size. They fit in and they interlock really nicely. You can do them smaller if you want to, but the width's got to make sure they fit into each other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do a little bit extra if you want, just to neaten it up. Now, you could just cut in line with that first coil, but because I tend to find mine goes a little bit wider, if I just cut that first one off, and then I'm just bringing it in line, so I'm only trimming a little bit off that very bottom coil. Micro. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little wraps, and that's nice and neat all the way around. I'll do the other one. Taking the bail step pliers. Again, you could make these wider if you wanted to, using a different step, but I tend to find this one is kind of like the Goldilocks. It's in the middle. So I'm bringing that wire round and round, nice and tight. Little twisty movements of my wrist while I guide it with my finger on the other hand. So my finger and thumb are supporting around. My dominant hand is just twisting, keeping those coils tight next to each other. I'm going to keep going with that, just because I think the more I do, the tighter they tend to get towards the end. Just, you see how it kind of opens out at times. So trim off. And then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will take me to about there. And you can keep these, because these are perfectly good jump rings. You can hammer them if you want, but it might take a bit of the colour off. Or you can use your pliers and just harden the wire by just flattening like that. But as you see, now you've created a jump ring that you can use, and you can open and close if you need to. So I'm going to just pop that back in and just put a little bit of pressure on that bit just to close it up a little bit more. And when I'm happy, I've got my 2 coils. I'm going to open out the end of one coil ever so slightly. Only needs to be a little bit. And then with the other coil, I'm going to slide it all through. So one coil opens out a tiny little bit and the other one fits all the way through it. And then I'm just creating that little screw-in motion. If it's easier, you can support your coil with your pliers just to give you something to grip onto. You want to make sure that this is compressed again, so your coil will fit on the inside. You'll see now it's going to start to take over that bit, so I'm just going to push it together with my thumb and my fingers. and then just guide that round. So it's just a bit like a spring, really. So just manipulate it. If I push these coils in that I've opened up together, they'll fit nicely inside. I know my fingers are in the way there. So I'm just going to turn, because I want those two ends and those ends of the wire to fit inside. So can you see how I've got that kind of interlocking little knot? So this is like a double love knot because it's just the two coils going together. I might revisit this project in the future, and I might do it with larger, more rings. So now if I push down, it will start to open up onto these two bits. Can you see that little oval in between? And then my E-ring hook, obviously pointy end in, will go through and out through the other side, and just push on those two loops just to make space. So pushing them down will open it up, and I can slide that onto the center. And then all I will need to do is take my weaving wire. Yeah, exactly. Camille says it's just like putting keys into a key ring. Fairness Bone says, love these knots. Just something a little bit different. So I tend to open my E-ring up just so I've got that space to work through. And it doesn't matter if you start on this side or this side. I'm going to place my weaving wire over the top to give myself something to hook onto, bringing it round, pushing it down with my finger. This is just kind of my starting point. And then usually I would count, so I know I've got exactly the same amount of wraps on one side as I have on the other, but it can go through the knot anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much. So just bringing it round and round, lovely tight little coil. I'm not putting loads of pressure on this, I'm just bringing it through the space in the middle of the E-ring and round the hoop. I want to make sure that these coils are sitting nice and neatly next to each other. We're filling that space. And if you've got them a little bit more open, you'll see the colour of the hoop shining through, which is fine. But I think it looks nice as one block of colour. So these wraps need to be, and you see they're just travelling over the top and sitting next to the last one. Over the top, next to the last one. I'm not coiling back on myself. It's just going next one, over, bringing it with my finger. I'll just push with my finger into place. Just keeping hold of that tail end. And then you'll see I tend to push down on those starting wires. Take the ring you've just made and just line them up against each other till you're happy you've got the amount that you want and that it's in the center. Take the weaving wire and I'm going to just travel it through the love knot. You can, as I say, cut it off and just start your weave again on the other side if you want to, but I just make sure that it doesn't kind of loop. You can move that love knot right up if you want and then slide it back round. So now my wire is coming out on the other side and I'm just going to do the same, wrapping over, round and round. All the way. So these are the Love Knot hoop earrings on totalybeads.co.uk. They are a fabulous price today. They're just £2.99, or you can get 2 for £5. If you wanted to mix your colours as well, you could do one coil in, say, the gold and one coil in the silver, and then you can kind of screw them into each other, interlock them, and you can give yourself like a lovely mixed metal look as well. They tend to be, sometimes I think they're referred to as like friendship knots. So I don't really know where the design come from, but I remember many moons ago I bought my friend, I was probably about, I'm going to say I was about 11. I bought my friend, we were on a little trip, and they're just like, it was like a little pendant. It was just like this little pendant, and it was kind of 2 interlocking wires. So it kind of, I guess, represents friendship, unity, and kind of infinity. So little did I know then that 30 odd years on, I would be making them myself. But here we are. So again, just check I've got around about the same length. And when I'm happy, I'm just going to bring the wire in. I'm going to trim off nice and close with my flush cutters, and then use my chain nose pliers or whatever pliers I want just to tuck that in. So I'm just twisting along with the wire. So I don't want to take off any of the coating of the colour, but I want it to finish, if possible, on the inside of that hoop. Let's get into shot. On the inside of the hoop, but also I've got to make sure it's nice and flush and tucked down, because I don't want any scratchy bits. So trimming off nice and close to the hoop. Taking my pliers just on that last coil and tucking it in with a little bit of pressure. Coming from both angles. Run your finger through it. And there is your beautiful hoop earrings. Gorgeous matching pair. We've got them in a lot of lovely colours for you today. So if you head over to totallybeads.co.uk, I'll bring the page back up for you, and you'll be able to see where you can get your kits if you would like to make along with me. You can see we've got them in champagne and red, gold and green, gold and purple. We've also got them in silver and pink and silver and turquoise. If you need to change your currency, if you're thinking, well, how much are those in US dollars, you can click at the top of the page and you can see they're just $3.36 for you today. So that's it. Let me pop it back to British pounds sterling, because I'm going to be doing a little bit of shopping, I think, later. I don't want to get myself confused. So that is our live for today. I would like, again, just to reiterate on behalf of myself and the whole Totally Beads team, thank you so much for joining us this year. Thank you so much for supporting us this year. It's my absolute pleasure and privilege to get to make along with you, share ideas with you, and get to spend my mornings with you. Fairness Born says, beautiful, Natalie. Thank you. She's going to watch properly when she gets home. She's wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Izzy, I hope you have the most wonderful time in New York and the Caribbean and wherever else you're floating off to on your boat. I hope you have a wonderful way to see the new year in. Joanne said, I didn't realise you make the knot. I like them, and now some that would like them too. Hello to Cindy all the way in Miami. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to catch up on this live, you can watch me on Natalie Pattern Jewellery on YouTube or Totally Beads YouTube channel, or you can go over to totallybeads.co.uk and you can learn to make jewellery and watch whenever you want to. I've got lots of lovely lives planned for you for the next year. Can't believe I'm saying for next year already. I'm going to be back with you on, I think it's the 7th, January the 7th, which is a Wednesday. So I'm going to be back with you in the new year. I've got some necklaces already planned. I've got some bracelets already made. I've been photographing them today. But I really do, from the bottom of my heart, mean it. Thank you so much for watching along with us. We wouldn't do what we do if it wasn't for you. So I hope you all have a very good new year. I'm wishing you all lots of good health and happiness. And Merry Christmas, everybody. See you soon. See you in 2026. Take care. Bye.